Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Matt and today I'm doing an open review for Bloodstained Ritual of the Night for the Switch. I'm saying open review for a reason and I'll explain at the end, so here we go. What's great? This is how a sequel should be. Now to be fair, I don't know if you would call it a sequel, but there is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, but on the surface they don't seem to connect. But I don't want to go into spoilers, so I'll leave it at that. There's just a possibility that they do. Music, and that is not surprising given where the game's influences are coming from. Gameplay, there are so many ways to play this. They're all great, from the weapons and the shards you collect along the way. Keeps it fresh. Character customization always gets an up from me. Story, I love it. It could be a little predictable and that's not a bad thing, but there are lore pieces to find, and talking to certain characters at certain points feel in the parts of the story. Metroidvania is alive and well. Surprising cameos, question mark. You'll have to play it and tell me. And also some surprising nods to Curse of the Moon. Normally I would do a good section, but it's not needed here because in my opinion the good stuff is great. Bad, there is unfortunately some bad stuff. Now I'm basing this on the Switch version, which I believe is behind the other versions of the game. I haven't played those versions so I can't compare, but I will say some stuff I have seen come up like button latency is almost laughable to me. I'm sure it's noticeable to people, but to me it in no way made it unplayable. In fact, if I hadn't heard about it I wouldn't have known about it, but that is my opinion. Also, I'm not having a shot at anyone. Like I said, if you notice it, you notice it, but I have no problem with it. Graphically, I mean, if you want a true to Symphony of the Night experience, it's great. Almost looks like a PS1 game. Okay, it's not that bad, but it is really downgraded and it is disappointing because the Switch is capable of more than what we got here, I believe. You just have to look at other titles on the Switch. Framerate, there are times when nothing is happening on the screen, then all of a sudden you are hit with a bit of a slowdown. And then there are times the game just straight up stops for a second. The game crashed twice on me and it came almost right after a boss fight. Let that sink in. There's a Dark Souls reference here, but I can't think of it. Strange. But just think about that. I'm not comparing this to Dark Souls, but imagine playing Dark Souls and then beating a boss. Then the game crashes and you have to do it all over again. Glitches, some just made me laugh, like bosses falling through the floor and going through walls. One time my character's face didn't load in. Nothing game breaking happened, just a bit of lack of polish. Now the actual game and not the technical stuff. Water area, I wanted to put my controller through the TV. Don't get me wrong, it could be fun. There is a mechanic I kinda did like, but controlling it in small areas was just frustrating. But it was a small section, so it wasn't that bad. The mixed feelings, there is one thing that I found a bit frustrating. It has to do with being able to swim in the water. Most abilities that let you traverse areas are generally given through boss battles. However, this one wasn't. I felt it was a bit of a misdirection, but when I think about it, there were some clues about that helped you sort of figure it out. Otherwise you'd have to be a completionist and you'd find it that way. So there were a couple of ways to figure it out. The grind, the way I play, this is never really an issue for me. I never felt I had to do it. But I have heard other people say there is a grind, so you'll have to decide how you feel about that. So here's the thing. I absolutely love the game. Yep, even with the current issues on the Switch version. The game crashed 2 times, after a boss fight and then another boss fight. But I enjoyed playing it, so it didn't bother me to fight them again. Don't get me wrong, when it happened, I had to have a break from the game, but honestly, the water parts of the map were more frustrating for me. But the thing is, I believe they have a great game here, and that is why I'm leaving this as an open review. They have said they are going to fix the Switch version, and when there have been some significant updates, I will check it out again and see how it stacks up after the updates. So if you think you can get past the bad, it's absolutely a must-have, but if you can wait, see what the updates do to it, and see if you like it after that. And of course, there's the other versions of the game that exist, so they might be worth a look at. Again, I haven't played them, but I would imagine that they are great as well, and probably better at this point in time. So once again, I love it, and if the updates really fix it up, then I think there is something really special here. So if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.